Hi everyone, I'm Rochelle with Originally Worn, and in this video we're going to be talking about how you can paint this tree kit to look like this tree kit. But first, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, you can find us online at originallywornonline.com and on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram under Originally Worn. So you may be wondering where you get these trees from. Currently right now I do have available these as kits that you can purchase, and they'll come apart as bases shipped, and then each tree is 2 separate pieces and each base is 2 separate pieces. You may also be watching this video if you are a fellow laser cutter and you've purchased the file for this and you want to know how I've painted these. Both the links for those things are in the description below, whether you want to purchase the kit or purchase the file. Or maybe you just want some inspiration for some Christmas trees. So whether you've cut the files yourself, had a friend cut them for you, or purchased the kit from me, what you should have is 3 different sizes of trees. This is the middle tree. He's 14 inches tall. This is the small. He's 10 inches tall. And this is the large one. He's 18 inches tall. So these are super cute for like a mantle or a buffet table to decorate all Christmas long. They'll come, like I said, separate, and these bottoms just pop on. So when you get done, if you don't glue them together, they're really easy for storage because it literally takes up a 1/4 inch there. I mean, they're thin. Unless you might have made them out of thicker wood, which still it really isn't going to take up that much. All of the ones that I sell as kits are made out of 1/8 inch MDF board. It paints up really nice and smooth, but of course, make it up with whatever you want if you're making your own. So, like I said, 2 pieces here, a backer piece and then this front cut piece. All the bases are the same and interchangeable, so don't be scared if you get them mixed up. All the bottoms of all the trees fit the same. I'm going to show you how I painted this set in kind of a rustic, worn away look. If you can see there, it's got a worn away white, and then here he's got like a little sky background. I'm going to do that, but feel free to use whatever paints you like, whatever brands you like, whatever colors. You could put scrapbook paper behind here and decoupage that on, or wrapping paper. That would be super cute too. Of course, you could, if you used wood to cut these out, you could stain that. There are so many possibilities here. This is the fun of a do-it-yourself kind of project or craft, is that whatever your imagination takes you is what you can create for your home. Say your home is decorated in all teals. Make some teal trees then. Do whatever makes you happy. It certainly does not need to be this traditional style, but this is what we're gonna go through. To complete the trees like I did, you're gonna need 5 different colors. Now I've used this Apple Barrel brand of paint, of acrylic paint that you can get at most craft stores, Walmarts, that kind of thing, because it is inexpensive and just quick and available in a lot of colors. The trees are painted in this antique parchment. I couldn't find the name of it. The green tree is in English ivy green. The red is in Flamenco Red, and then the background of the deer tree is made up of Admiral Blue and black. Of course, anything in any sort of brand, a green, a red, an antique white, a navy blue, and a black would work great. You're also going to need some type of glue. I'm using wood Gorilla Glue, but a tacky glue, a hot glue, Elmer's glue would work fine. And at least one kind of cheap little paintbrush. Doesn't have to be anything fancy or anything like that. This is a pretty easy beginner's paint project. To start, we're gonna paint the background colors on all the trees first. So this is the back of the biggest tree here. And if you want, actually, before you paint, you can flip this to go whatever way you want. Also note that if you don't want kind of this, you know, worn away antiqued look, to just be sure to prime it or seal it or something like that beforehand if you want it to take up less paint. You don't have to, but you can, and it'll be a little bit easier to paint. Of course, I want a very worn away texture, so we're not even gonna worry about that. I'm using just a large flat craft brush here, and just a little bit of this, remember the color is English Ivy Green. And I'm gonna put a little bit on my brush and take a little bit back off. Now this MDF will soak this stuff up like crazy. And I've decided that I want my kind of green worn away look to go in this direction. So I'm just going to make swipes up and down until I get the desired kind of thickness all over that I want. Of course, you can make this solid if you want, or however much. You even can paint it solid and sand it back if you want. But that just seems like a whole nother step and a waste of paint. So might as well just not put that much paint on to start with. Also note that you do not need to paint up to the edges because this piece will cover your edges there. So you can kind of just go, you know, like that over them or whatever, you know, again, gets you the look you want. Let's see, do I have any spots that I need to cover? Nope, I like him just like that. And so I'm going to set him aside and wash my brush out. Note in between changing colors, you want to dry your brush out just on like a paper towel or something so it's not dripping wet if you're gonna use the same brush. Or alternatively, you could just change brushes. So for this tree, he's got a worn away background just the same. And this is the back of the candy cane tree. And same, you can flip it either direction you want in the end. We're using Flamenco Red. And you see I have this little paper towel here, or wax paper, and I flipped it and I'm gonna put this on another part of it. Again, you don't need very much paint. And this I'm gonna kind of run diagonal like my lines are. Not for any real reason, just because you gotta pick some way to put your brush, so I just went with the way that my design was. I'll make sure that I like how it looks. Yep. Take that back off, wash my brush, let this one dry. Next, we're gonna be having a little fun here with creating this blended night sky. Again, here's your background piece, here's your top, and of course, he can go either direction also. So you're gonna need to put your black down, and you're gonna need your navy blue, which technically is Admiral Blue in this case. And you're gonna have one paintbrush, and you're gonna work the colors from the blue on the bottom to the black on top. And you can kind of just go back and forth. So we'll start by adding a little bit of black on top. We know we want, you know, pretty solid background of black up there. And then I can go with the same brush down to my blue here, because I know I want it pretty bright blue towards the bottom. And as you work your way up and down, again, you can have, you know, this as kind of worn away as you want, or as blended and thick as you want, or if you get too much paint on here, you can always sand some off. Be careful when you're sanding the MDF that you don't like just tear right through it, but it should still sand just fine. So let's go back up to the black, get some black there. And that's kind of like we've made to their meeting point. You know, half black, half blue. Now we're gonna start to, you can mix it right here if you want, on there into little parts, and go with that color in the middle. You can mix it on the actual piece if you want. So say you take like a little bit of blue and go like that, and then take some black and go up here with it. And just so you get the look that you like. But the fun thing with this guy is, so when you get your background how you want them, with enough blue and enough black, then a little bit of your white, and we're gonna sprinkle some stars on this. Now I find a really stiff brush is the easiest. An old toothbrush works. This is a crappy stencil brush. Just get a little bit of white on those tips, and then literally just fling them on there. And now your deer has a starry background, hopefully, that you can see there. Your next step is to paint the front of everything, kind of a very also distressed white, also including the edges of both sides. A thing to note here is that you don't want to get a lot of paint down in the area where they're going to fit together into their stands, nor do you want to get a lot of paint down into this part of the stands, because it'll make it really hard to get them in. If you've purchased the kit from me, it actually comes with an extra set of stands, just in case you happen to snap one while you're pushing them together. And just like the other colors, we're gonna get a little bit of white, take some off. You can put some off on a paper towel too if that works easier. And I find if I start with the edges, it helps. And I'm not looking, again, for solid coverage, but you certainly can. Of course, you don't need to paint both sides. So again, my stripes go this way. I'm gonna paint this front. And here I am going in the direction kind of the design again, just trying to put it on thicker and thinner in some areas. Trying to not give it a brush strokey look, but more of a worn away look. So it can be pretty solid in some areas and pretty thin in others. Now I'm not worried about getting the paint kind of in these inner cut parts, but you know, if you are, just, you know, don't be so spastic like I am. Try not to be too picky, because in the end it'll all just look worn and distressed and kind of natural. So there we have our finished tree. Hopefully you can see there how it's, you know, worn and not solid. I'm gonna do all the tops and the sides of these, again avoiding the middle, and then the fronts of these. sure to paint the edges of your background pieces too, so when they get put together, it will blend. I almost forgot this time. Once everything is dry, it's going to be time to assemble them. So let's work on the big tree first. So this guy will have these two pieces and he'll need a stand. Now you could glue this onto there if you want, and you can actually glue it onto the tree too. Of course you don't have to if this is something you want to maybe disassemble for storage. I'm using wood Gorilla Glue and just like a little teeny cheap brush. And I'm just gonna dip it in there, and on the back of my front piece, I'm gonna just start with a little bit of glue. Now, the bases hold this pretty much together, I mean, really well. So it's not like it's gonna fall apart if this isn't perfectly glued. It's almost like the glue is just a little added step of security. Any glue really works with MDF. Like you could use Elmer's glue if that's what you have around. Heck, you probably could use double-sided tape if you wanted to. It's totally up to what you have with you and in your stash, but don't be so fussy about the glue in that regard. Also, before you glue them together, if you wanted to, say maybe antique them with a glaze or a wax, just be sure to then seal the paint first. I'm not doing that with these, so I didn't need to seal them. I feel like if you're not, putting an antiquing layer on top of it, it doesn't really benefit from doing that extra step because they're just decorative. So if it takes you a little while, go up here and put a little bit more glue here at the top, because that's really where it needs it the most. And then take them and just they'll fit. I mean, they're precision laser cut. They'll fit together perfectly. And if you have them around your house, you can take a clamp and clamp them up top here. If you don't worry about it. They clamp that together. Then of course it's not moving at all. If you do have glue that seeps out of the edges, just wipe it up. I didn't there. As for your bottom now, what you need to do is you push one on first. And it is a tight fit because they fit perfectly in there. So they stand perfect. So you can see how he's slid on there. Just kind of push him up about 1/8 of an inch. If you want, you could throw some glue down on that one now, and then fit your other one over on the 1/8 of an inch. The key here is to push these together and push them down so that it's flush. So this is all flush and flat. It'll sit really well if you do that then. And so there he is. It actually looks like I need to go back with a little bit of paint and paint a teeny more down there, but that's no big at all. He's done and ready to go. Our next tree to assemble is the 14-inch candy cane. So again, we're gonna go on the back, get some glue all down him. Looks like this one needs a little bit of glue to stay, so we'll just put a little bit of glue between the two bottom layers. And then when I push him down, just remember, push it all together and then you'll have a flat surface. And last but certainly not least, we're going to put together the deer with the northern star. So you can see here a little bit how I got my white kind of over there. It's not even a big deal because it will get covered. But if something does happen, just go back with the original paint. It really isn't anything to be too stressed over. And there you have it. You're all done. These make great gifts for people and are a really fun DIY class to do with your friends. If you enjoyed this tutorial, be sure to share it with a friend, subscribe to Originally Worn on YouTube, and also you can find us online at originallywornonline.com and under Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram under Originally Worn. Again, you can purchase the files to cut them yourselves and paint them or sell them as kits with the description below, or you can purchase the pre-cut kits without the paint from my website. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day and happy painting.